is a bit slower than the others, but that's okay. It's fast enough. Do. What kind of test? Just testing to make sure that if I type something, it works. Pencil, check. Eraser, check. Markers, ooh, most of them close enough. You know that it is. Check 1, 2 in the microphone, check. The microphone's checked, so the microphone doesn't get wrecked. Pretzel music, oh what the heck. Guess I could start now. Dude, what? What do you mean you started using Animate CC? What have you been using? What have you been using this whole time then? Oh, now that makes sense. Now that makes any sense. Hi, Space Goonie. Master Prouse. Oomster Chipmunkins. Oh. A text from my brother. Where did that go? Text. Anyway. Okay, how do I do this? You done there. Pretzel. Stop a minute. I said stop. Stop? Thanks. Thanks, Pretzels. Thanks, Ripley. All right, we seem to be buffered. Ooh, that sounds like a pretty comprehensive answer to me. I was just gonna say, if you can buy stuff there, then buffer. And okay. Okay. All right. And click. What the? All right, close enough. Yeah, I was just gonna say that if you can buy stuff at a place and you can also return said stuff to get your money back, then I guess that's a store, right? But what does store even mean? What does store even mean? Because isn't a store technically like a place where stuff is stored, but they also happen to let you, purchase it at the same time? But I don't know. I guess I could probably use this or any number of the magical gadgets around me to Google the actual definition of store, but I'm not going to. Instead, I guess I'm just scrolling through 80s cartoons to pick an 80s cartoon to draw one of my weird versions of. I should point to the camera and not to the computer because that's insane. You're not a computer. But yeah, anybody wants to throw out a few suggestions and maybe I'll take them. Odds are I will. I don't know, I always get scrolling through these and I just can't quite decide. I know the other day I was like, oh, I'm definitely going to draw, seriously, camera, a weird version of that thing or character or whatever it was. Smurfs, I already did a ton of Smurfs. I think I did one of them on stream once. Uh, Anything besides, yeah, those are windows. This whole place, it's mostly windows. Actually, there's like two little slots. Um, well, I guess about the size of this Milo slot here, where the picture is. There's like a few more of those, but in between all that, all windows all the time. And then there's doors, two doors leading back out to the living room, but those are also like French doors, all windowed up. And yeah, since the summer's finally coming back, um, I'm not drawing your dog is not an '80s cartoon. I already drew your old dogs. Simple rules. Simple rules. Um, yeah, there were some rescue rangers here. We did some before. Oh, Monterey Jack. Let's have some fun with Monterey Jack, shall we? Yeah, I'm gonna go Monterey Jack. Uh, get some neutral. I lost where that was. Neutral density film. Like for the windows, you mean? So I'm not as backlit? We just did a He-Man too. Ooh, we should do like a Ram Man or somebody weird. But, oh, Inspector Gadget. All right, let's see. See how fast I do these. Today has already been do stuff in a rush for the important people at work this week. So I already half considered, like, you know what? I'm definitely not. I can't draw anymore today. But since my hand is already formed into the drawing claw, might as well keep going until it can't move anymore. Um, and if, ooh, Road Blade Runner. Definitely next week. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do some mashups of things for sure because I like the idea of that. Um, but I think that did you? Yeah, you've heard of this at least, or you know. I think it was called Lunatics as well, or Tunatics. No, but whatever it was like Justice League Looney Tunes, and you know the Roadrunner. I think they all had like black. They were all like matrixed out and stuff. So I think technically that probably already would be a Blade Roadrunner. But still, we'll come up with some other ones. We'll take some other, characters that aren't so widely used for parody T-shirts and whatnot. So, I of course I've also thought like I don't have any stories. I've just been working so hard, and I got nothing to talk about. And Pat Prost 101, when I was watching his stream the other day, he was like, "Hey, hey, I made this thing with character animator over here." And I was like, "Pat, why are you using the Milo voice to talk to me?" And he was like, "I have no idea. I guess you don't do very many impressions, so you don't have a Pat impression." Um, hey, Cliffy9798. So yeah, I don't think I ever watched the Lunatics, but yeah, Pat Prost was showing me character animator for Adobe Character Animator, which is I want to say kind of the worst program ever and the best program ever, and both of those things combined make it a thing that's useless to me in 99% of my life. In my art career life, like, ooh, this could be used for, nope, for the thing I thought it might be good for, not even close. What it makes, didn't even expect. Like the ad came up in Flash in Adobe Animator, so of course it's going to be like an animation program, right? That's compatible with Flash because they showed it to me in Flash, and they want to show me how to like bend things and stuff. Like, all right, cool, yeah, let's finally throw some bones and things and bend them around. And And then Pat was like, yeah, it's basically like that, except it makes a Photoshop file. What? What do you mean it makes a Photoshop file? Yeah, it makes a Photoshop file. Don't understand what you're talking about, Pat. Don't understand what you're talking about. That's right, Cliffy. When I'm not working, I draw on paper because it's fun. But all day long, I draw on the computer, making digital animations and illustrations for people's alert animations and for their merchandise. And yeah, this is on my lap, and this one of these days I'll come up with a better microphone camera stand for the drawing. I had one for a while that didn't bounce around as much, but anyway, you know what I should have done? I'll open up another tab over here. I'm going to type in rat, hit the go button, makes things go. Oh, Cliffy, thanks for the follow. It's nothing but spiffy. Hey, it's Cliffy, following in a jiffy. Hey, we're getting riffy with Cliffy, making up things, and I ran out of rhymes. You see? Yeah, that's all I got. That's the other thing we do here, Clippy. I say we. It's me, my imaginary penguin friend. I don't know if you can tell. This is Major Penguin. He's never very impressed. But anyway, old Patty Prost would showed me the animator, and if you're following along on Instagram, also a No Such Thing as Grownups, you'll see I made a new Milo, which is the emotes that are laughing hysterically, uproariously, if you will, down there. And sorry, thinking while I draw. Try not to make this too Disney-ish. There we go. So yeah, so I spent half the weekend watching tutorials on how to do this thing. Cause Pat was like, check it out. I made this little Pat character and he just animates with my face and my arms. And isn't that great? Like, that is kind of the greatest, Pat. So I made a little Milo, I imported him, and he went and just imploded into himself. And I'm like, yeah, that's how I remember 3D working in school when I was learning animation. All the things, all the always just imploding because this 3D doesn't make any sense. It's the worst. It's the worst, Major P. But then I realized, like, oh, I'm terrible with Illustrator. These aren't groups; these are layers, and this isn't this. This is that. So recombobulated, revoltroned it, and made a new Milo. So I'll be spending some more time working on that. So that took up a bunch of my energy and effort. And then work was all like, let's rush and do stuff. So I didn't think I'd have many stories, but leave the apartment for 5 minutes and I've got nothing but stories. Oh, sorry, it's Major Penguin. He's a David Bowie penguin. Like, I mean, he's Major Penguin after Major Tom, but he's somewhat designed in a labyrinth Jareth outfit. Oh, the songs never stop. You'll be asking for less songs eventually, Cliffy. This isn't Cliffy, is it? This is, I don't know you, right? Cliffy isn't on Mixer. When I say Cliffy, like my Cliffy. I can't think of any other names I had for Cliff. Cliff from animation school, from high school. Cliff from back home. Back home, Cliff. Anyway, big old mustache. So yeah, before we go to stories, gotta talk about old cartoons first, because as I bring up Monterey Jack, the first thing, oh, you're like an old Tommy Knight. is there two Cliffies? There is two Cliffies. Ooh, double stocking. Anyway, as soon as I saw this picture of Monterey Jack, or got his name in my head, actually, I'm just like, oh yeah, the big guy. And then it hit me like, oh, his name is Monterey Jack. Which, that's fine. Like, all those Disney cartoons, we already talked about that. All the food names from Tailspin. But Monterey Jack, like, I've not watched Rescue Rangers in 1,000 years, like, other than knowing most of the theme song off by heart. The rest of it is kind of like, what was going on there? Like, Nimnol, I believe, was one that was like the scientist bad guy, Fat Cat, like so many weird things. They're all still lodged in my head. And that's weird. Just roughing stuff in right now. But Monterey Jack himself, like, I'm pretty sure if we all went back and watched some Monterey Jack now, or we Googled problematic Jack of the Monterey variety in our YouTube, we'd probably, everybody could draw. It's just the willingness. It's not about being the best. Just do it. Monterey Jack is just nothing short of a racist character. Like if you try to remember him, like I can very clearly remember Gadget's voice in my head. I can very clearly remember the tone of Zipper, the fly zipping around. The other two, they're always in there just from childhood, no matter what. But Monterey Jack is from the days of, hey, let's make something funny. Well, what's funny? Accents, and they are. But it is like, well, this is clearly probably like just some definitely not an Australian guy doing a hilarious Australian character. Oh, The Rescuers was amazing. Fly Zip. Also, everything in Disney lore was probably is on some way perverse and weird. If you dig into it enough. It's just not big enough. But anyway, aside from the accent, like, alright, like, everybody loves an Australian accent. If you have one, I can't hear a word that you're saying because I'm listening too much to the accent, and I don't know, maybe that's racist or accentist. I don't know what it is. I'm just like, this is the greatest accent ever, and it's just always just super interesting just to listen to. Everything about it, the cadence, the words. It's a magical place filled with deadly things, and that's why, you gotta be special and from Australia to go to Australia, because it's too dangerous. Don't go there. But anyway, the things the characters said were always so regional, geographically, racially specific. Oh yeah, I'd have to watch quite a few. Because yeah, even now, like if I throw on a TV show after watching so many of the British panel shows, I'm just like, why does everybody sound so stupid now? They sounded so smart even when they were saying stupid things. And like, oh yeah, just regular American and Canadian accents. But yeah, Monterey Jack, like completely lodged forever in my mind. Couldn't tell you what episode. I think it might be like one of the first episodes where they kind of first come together, Futurama style or whatever, however that happened, and start their detective agency in a tree, I guess. Yeah, this guy isn't actually looking that creepy at all. Just different. we'll creep him up with markers. Let me go ahead and darken this up. Too small. Perfect. But yeah, burned into my mind forever. It's still like, I don't know why. Like maybe when I see the word junk, I have no idea. But it seems like, I don't know, once every 2 weeks, the thought crosses my mind, in his voice, in this thick, fake Australian accent. This reminds me of the time when I was shanghaied in Shanghai on a junk full of junk. And I think there might have been another of those things that are like, if not for the fact that like something else coincided in my childhood that also called like a Chinese junk, like, you know, it explained that there's a boat that's called a junk. And getting shanghaied means getting shanghaied, like whatever. Tricked, swindled. Bamboozled. But anyway, I mostly recall that he was very specifically like, oh, that guy's from here. Let's not trust him. Just full blown. Racial and regional profiling from beginning to end. Because sometimes some crimes go slipping through the cracks. But this here mouse, no, rat, deer, he's like, I won't touch that because those guys there are a race I don't like. Let me give you an anecdote. Disney racism. It goes back so far. Used to be okay, and now it's over. But if you need help, just call Chip and Dale. They're rescue rangers, but don't call Monterey Jack. He's kind of a stranger. He's a little bit different and weird. Also, I'm pretty sure that Gadget had to convince him to like basically be a part of the team every single episode. Like every single episode was the, you guys don't need me to write. I'll stop my own. Also, I mean, all of his stories were lies. Like, they were all lies. Like, that was the other thing, was like, we let this guy on the team. He's part of the team. But we all know he's making all of this stuff up. Like, there was, like, one episode where somebody from one of the stories or a bunch of the stories came to help out and was totally whoa, this old idiot that follows us around isn't making it all up this whole time. I'm pretty sure I spent most of my childhood just being like, why are you guys still letting this big drunk weirdo hang out with you? Other than sometimes you gotta lift something heavy, or he's the one who can drive things, I guess. But mostly all of his stories, I feel like, took place, I'm gonna say, within the human world, as opposed to like these guys. They're all having their interactions with other cats, dogs, all these animals, solving their mysteries as those mysteries are adjacent to jewel heists and whatnot. But Monterey Jack stories were always like, again, like Too right. I remember the time I was surfing with the King of Siam. That's when I land. Never, never trust a shark with an underbite. Means he's got something to hide. And oh, don't tell me I've already used up this marker. Good day, Moxie folks. Anyway, stories, as I promised. If you're kicking people now, it's on your own time. You have to take responsibility for if you get kicked back or not. Speaking of what may or may not have been a fight, not as crazy as normal, but yeah. Oh, those are the chimes. For the longest time, I'm like, who has the loudest chimes in the world? Like next door, this is crazy. And then I realized, oh yeah, there's like 5 churches on the next street, so I'm pretty sure it's one of them. But yeah, the other day, went for a walk, sun was out. I guess I should say that was supposed to be, I was going to segue out of talking about watching tutorials on a Saturday and Sunday of how to make a little animated world for Milo. Or actually bring Milo, he's already usually outside in the real world, but bring him out so he can have his own little show again. Um, but Saturday was a nice day for once. And I was like, but Pat just showed me the thing and I gotta watch the tutorial. So I watched one tutorial that was like really short and I'm like, oh yeah, I got it. This makes sense. Excuse me. I'm just gonna modify and make a thing. Do. And then that didn't work. That was just a mess. Some things worked, some things didn't. And I'm like, all right, I'll watch the other tutorials. But then I was like, wait. Stop, collaborate, and listen. Look outside. It's a brand new mission. It's sunny, and you've got some money. Go get something to eat while the streets aren't so runny with rain or snow or even sleet. It's a Saturday that can't be beat. You're especially not going to just sit and do tutorials. You're not even making things. You're just watching like Orioles. What, like water boils? No, I got nothing. Anyway, so I said no. No, and I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go outside in the sun like a normal, good, reasonable boy. And yes, I still look whiter than anybody should, but I'm gonna blame a lot of that on the lights. But yes, it still hasn't been sunny enough. Um, Moxie Fox just walks around hoping people get in her way. Today's gonna be the day. Just waiting to Johnny Cobra Kai some kids outside the liquor store, just sitting in her car, getting angry and drunker outside of the liquor store, begging, wishing for a fight. So I go for a walk like a normal person. I go up a street and decide, like, I keep in my head thinking, like, going this way is like a 10-hour walk, but I'm pretty sure it's probably like 10 minutes. Let's investigate. And my headphone wire is somehow going down my arm. I don't know how it is moving on its own, but it is. All right. So, like I said, I go for a walk, like everybody does, like normal people do, I'm sure. Even Cliffy goes for walks. I know that Moxie Fox takes a little dog for walks. I've seen with my own two eyes both Space Goonie and Pat using their legs to walk. Therefore, I'm not an insane person. I'm just walking. Do I live in the Truman Show? I don't know. I don't know. When I tell people the things that I see, they're like, "Why? How do you see? What is going on?" The only explanation is Truman Show, because nobody else has little vignettes going on that are just too well timed. That I'm catching the beginning. I'm catching most of this show. Like, this is banana boats. So go down the street like a normal person. Do 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 do. Headphones are on. I'm lip syncing to whatever I'm listening to, and I'm fine with that. Maybe a little bit dancey. Walking down the street, seeing people I don't want to meet. Oh, what's that guy over there? He's just sitting in his car like he don't care. So I realize I'm on the street where my friends Mike and Holly used to live, who also used to live in this apartment. And I'm like, oh, this is the street. For some reason, like, I have zero reason to come up and down the street ever now that they don't live there. And oh wow, it looks really different. Like, now that it's not covered in snow, I only remember it in the wintertime. Still counts. Walking to the car counts. So, walking, jamming, everything's fine. And yeah, there's a guy in his truck. He's there for a second, just kind of like chilling, like getting ready to go in, finishing with his phone or whatever. And then he goes to the apartment next door to Mike and Holly's old apartment. And I'm only noticing because, like, he pulled in and blocked my view to where I'm like, I'm pretty sure, yeah. Hey, now I gotta. You've jumped in front of the show that I was watching, which was just, is this a building I remember? Um, so that's fine. That's fine. Like, unimportant, no reason. I'm not actually upset. Like, hey, I was looking there. Like, that's a dumb thing. So to make it dumber, guy gets out of his truck. Like, all right, I'm still just, vaguely aware that a person has gotten out of a truck and is walking up to a door on the other side of the street, or is doing that as I'm coming up the street. Do 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 do. But then I realized, like, my headphones aren't cranked at all, because all of a sudden I'm very aware of. He gets to the door, and it's like, as I'm passing, It's just knock 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 knock. And I'm walking just like how do I not watch this? Like it's not frantic. Like it's not, oh my god, are you alive? Are you alive? It's just knock 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 knock. Fairly nonchalantly, but consistently and constantly for again probably less than a minute, right? Like it didn't take me 40 minutes to pass by 3 or 4 buildings, but it seemed like forever. Like nobody knocks that long. But again, why I say I'm being Truman showed within this vignette. This isn't the only part of the vignette. He's knocking on this door, knock, 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 knock. And those music videos are like, I don't know, I saw them first in like animation school. They were like these weird animation cycle things. But like, I want to say it's like a Green Day video, where the one where they're in an asylum. Is that the one? Anyway, there's like one, so like one person starts doing something and another person is doing something. So even though things kind of unrelated, they just like narrowly miss each other. So all of this stuff is happening, and I just got the feeling of that. Like, this is too many things. Even though it's just two, but it's too many things. So knock 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 knock. Out of the building I was looking at, Mike and Holly's place, this girl comes out, and for a minute, like I know that we're not gonna make eye contact and be like, "What's up with Knox McGee over here?" Like, "Hey, why don't you try knocking 55 more times, dog?" I know that's not gonna happen, but somewhere in my head, it's just like somebody else is aware. I'm not alone in witnessing this weird, to me, weird behavior. Again, like this is what I'm doing. This is weird behavior. It's recorded to be witnessed. It's fine. It's fine. Sorry to gesticulate in your face, but she comes out. Like I noticed, she's coming out. She, as near as I can tell, is oblivious, completely blind to this guy. Like she comes like kind of out to the street a bit, walks past where that guy is, like fully just horse blinders on. Like, can she not? Like I have headphones on and I can hear this. Like, do I have superpowers or am I just crazy? Where I'm just way too sensitive to sounds, and I know that's partly it. I can't stand anybody else's noise, but this is just like I'm on the other side of the street. She's closer, but whatever. She goes past him to another door, and I'm just like, she's going to that building too. Like this is weird, but that's why I'm like, in my head, like, oh, they're going to come out of this door and she's going to go in that door, but it's actually 2 separate apartments, or probably 3 or 4 apartments. And these 2 things are completely unrelated, but because weird animation brain, I automatically picture it as like a Rube Goldberg system, something weird. But you know what happens? Space Goonie? Little Patty Press 101? Little Cliffy? Oh my god. Alright. Sorry. That was my mom. She just got her Mother's Day card today. I sent it well before Mother's Day. It was definitely not going to be late, but she's like, would you believe it's the first time I checked the mail? And what? Anyway, it's fine. It's fine. So, she passes that guy. She goes to this other door, and then And then knock 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 knock. I guess I could hold my real phone. Knock 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 knock. Like, I'm fully looking back at this point, like, no trying to be unnoticed, no trying to just, like, I want you to see me, and I want you to say, oh, this is what's going on over here, we're not crazy, or hi, crazy party over here, do you want to come to the crazy party, or we're going crazy? Because we just came from two completely different places, but we both started knocking in the same way on different doors to the same building. And this is mind-blowing because you're not at the same time going, hey, so he's not answering? No, he's not answering. Like, this is crazy. Yeah, this is crazy. How can you be on the same mission and not? It was just, I don't know, you full-blown Twilight Zone. And I was just like, what's going on? But now at this point, I'm just like, now I'm getting too far away. Like, I don't know. I can't get an end to this story. This is going to make me crazy. But I keep looking, like, around the corner, like, as farthest I get, I'm still just like, I gotta, what's happening? And as I crest the corner, they definitely saw me. So like I said, I'm just like looking, just like, either look more frantic or less frantic. I don't know, like, I don't know what I want here, but it's like your easygoing attitude, but incessant knocking, it just doesn't go good. If Jordan Peele came out and took off a Forrest Whitaker mask to be like, hey, remember when I hosted Twilight Zone as well? That's the only way. The only way. I would need at least two. I'd need at least two Twilight Zone hosts to make that work for me. So then, as I crest the corner, the girl leaves the front step, and then she comes around, and then they're both like just kind of standing on the side steps. I'm like, okay, so this was a group mission. I guess you are trying to get somebody to wake up or whatever. But just the timing of it all was like, is this for me? Is this for me? Like, once the girl started knocking in the same way, I genuinely was just like, I'm just gonna look in the other direction and see who's filming. Anybody in this window? This window? This window? Is that in this parking meter thing? Is this the camera? Where's the camera? Where's the camera? Huh? Ugh. Can't be real. Can't be real. Ed Harris, I know you're in the moon. Come on down out of the moon and stop making weird things happen. Which is also like one of the first Twilight Zones I ever did see when, I don't know, we finally got cable or some weird space channel or something. It's a religious emergency. Somebody open up the store. You will get saved whether you want it or not. No. And then, of course, that's the other thing that you always go to anyway, that I always think automatically of just like, am I in a tent? Like, first, I used to just think it's the building. And as I circulate around the town, talk to people, see things, it becomes very apparent that I'm in Silent Hill. This whole town has been dead for 50 years. And somehow, like, either I died between New Brunswick and Cape Breton, or I'm the only person who's alive here. It was just like, hey, let's put on some more weird shows for the dumb living idiot. And an odd aside about the Jehovah's Witnesses and the door knocking. I assume it was Jehovah's Witnesses. I keep forgetting. My hands are behind you, right? There you go. I think they knocked on my door once, but they made the mistake of knocking on the door across the hall from me first. So through my magic peephole, I was like, "Oh hey, they're trying to convince that lady across the hall to join their religion." And she's like, "Nah, man, I got a PlayStation and I'm good." And they're like, "Yeah, but you might want to join us at our thing." Um, So it was too late. It was too late. I already knew who was. I knew what the next knock was going to be. Whether it was 1,000 or if it was two, there will be no door answering for you. So knock, knock, knock. No answer because I'm just sitting on the couch going, no thanks. I barely. I have a hard time answering the door for people I know, let alone you. Um, but that's not the funny or the odd part. Um, You're a bunch of life spectrums. Um, Other times, they've come back, and I've noticed. One time I held the door for them, and they came into the building. We basically followed each other upstairs, and then I went into my apartment to not open the door. But they didn't knock on the door because they already realized, like, oh yeah, like this guy's definitely been home, and he just doesn't answer the door for us, I think. And they remembered, which I kind of like. That almost makes me want to answer the door, like, hey guys, I see you over there knocking on doors, and no, I don't want to let you in, but I genuinely appreciate the fact that I respect how much you remembered and respected that I'm not going to open the door for you. Thanks for not terrifying me with random door knocks. But that opens a whole Pandora's door of open doors. And I don't need that. What am I? Some sort of radio call-in show? No, I'm not. 'Cause sometimes some crimes these two gumshoes are picking up the slack. But anyway, yeah. Saw them, heard them talking about like, oh, do 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 do. His nickname was Monty. Oh, read a book. Read a book. All right, Facebook pods. Oh yeah, I guess I did a thing. Kind of. There's an animation industry, whatever it is, panel or two up at the college that I used to go to, and Peter, my animation teacher, he still runs all the things there. Um, he was like, "Hey, we're having some people over for a panel. Come on over." and cause trouble. And I'm like, I will definitely come over and cause trouble. It was like Ron and Ben, a bunch of people I used to work with in animation here in Nova Scotia. So I get there, and Peter's like, "Hey, like, do you want to go be on the panel?" Like, no, I'm fine. Like, I got here late. I don't really know what's going on. You've already had all this set up, and from back here, I won't feel as responsible for any trouble that I caused just by saying weird things. We can mostly just consider it like audience participation. That is normal, and not I know the people on the thing, and I've known them for 1,000 years, and I'm gonna cause trouble. So I think before I even really said anything, Peter said like, "Oh, I've hired a heckler. He's in the audience," and then still introduced me to everybody in the room in the audience as if I was on the panel, um, because he doesn't quite realize. But I already, yeah, I think I might have warned him. No, I might just take over. No, I didn't. Um, and I try not to. I try not to, but I talk too much. That's why I do this thing. So I get in there. Uh, they're like just getting ready to introduce everyone, and I'm trying to get into a seat. I just start to sit down and look and realize like, oh, I'm taller than the person behind me. I should move. So I move down. But in trying to move down, my jacket hooks on a chair, so I'm like pulling a chair with me. So it's a whole full like just quick little Mr. Bean sequence of like, all right, well, so much for sneaking in here nonchalantly and quietly. I'm as apparent as if I come in flipping over chairs, which I should have just did. I should have just flipped over a chair and be like, I'm here now. Everyone pay attention to me and had fun with this from the get go. But I tried to be a good, respectful person. So again, like it was still fairly quiet, but then it's just like it's Curtis, and then Ron was like stumbling and knocking everything down. Like, okay, everyone, go back to paying attention to the panel now. Oh, I forgot I was gonna put color markers on this. I don't need to put this much thread here. So of course they start talking and just introducing themselves or whatever. Like, no need for me to jump in here, and I don't. But eventually, I kind of move. I start drawing, just doodling some people that are there. No big deal, nothing weird. None of the drawings came out even remotely decent. So did Instagram them. But I moved over one so that I could see Ron better and do a doodle of him. And they kind of start getting into like stories and stuff, and I can tell that Ron can tell that he's just like looking at me, waiting for me to just jump in and say something. Um, and I know that I'm doing my best not to just randomly say like, "Hey, excuse me, I've got a story for that. Everyone, shut up." but uh, but yeah, a few times I felt like he was like, oh, "You're just baiting me now. You're baiting me with the bringing up of those things, that show, that project, that whatever. Um, I can't not talk about that." So whatever. At a certain point, they start asking questions or something, and somebody asks about kind of like, hey, working in the game industry versus working in kind of TV industry. What about this and that? And for the most part, like the gaming people were either like interns or like very new to that world, so they only had so many answers, and they didn't do TV, and the TV people didn't do game stuff, and I don't know. There was kind of an answer to the question, and I'm just like, I have the answer to that question. I need to answer it. And again, like I can see Ron seeing me just like okay, like I clearly am about to speak because like I can see it in Ron's eyes. He's he knows that I'm loaded and ready to fire. And I'm fully just like, oh, yeah, just like in a trailer, like just like so this person said, like this and this and that. I just gave a bunch of information, and definitely a few people are looking at me like, why are you even talking? You're one of us idiots in the audience here to learn from those guys, right? And I'm just like, yeah. No, you guys are students, and I'm an old man. Who used to work with these guys, was some of their supervisors and whatever. But again, then like Peter kind of introduces again, like, oh, by the way, like he does know what he's talking about. These are real things that he's saying. So that was pretty fun. Because then I don't know, at least a good hour into it, I was completely comfortable just being like, yeah, this is just a discussion now. We're all just having a discussion. So fair game? Fair game. Yeah, everything's fair game. So pretty much, well, at least, when Ben and Ron talked, it was like, yeah, I'm part of this conversation, whether you guys like it or not. When the other people said stuff, I wasn't a jerk. But, a few things where Ron was, like the question of, hey, like how did you get here? Like what were you what was the history? Like where did you begin? Like us from here to there. And oh, Foxhound Dash, feel better? Feel better? I don't know. Feel better. Hopefully you're dying inside for good reasons. Um you Gene Parmesan me? So clever. Oh wait, I thought Foxhound was Moxie Fox's. Why would you have a Mixer account called Foxhound? Foxhound is a different person. Hey, Foxhound. Um, but anyway, yeah, Ron, like, hey, how did you go? How did you get to TV? How are you like a producer now? How are you one of the animators on the Teen Titans Go movie and the series and whatever? Like, blah blah blah. And Ron's like, well, way back, like I got out of school, I guess, and then I was just like, I had nothing. I was just kind of wandering around, wondering what to do, and some of it's delay, some of it's me taking forever to read the things. Um, and I'm just like, actually, I think I managed to keep myself from saying actually a lot. But I was like, you were making a short film. You got a grant to do a short film that you never finished, but you spent all the money. Go. And he was like, oh yes. He's like, so Peter, actually, the teacher, he got me in touch. He set up this, got me this grant to do a short film. I immediately spent all that money like living expenses and whatnot, and then whatever. I told him, hey, come here. Um, that happens too. Oh, it's only a 30-second delay. That's a pretty great delay, I think. And the oh, Space Goody, smelling animators. Um, the other, I don't know, funny for me. Um, I know that Peter enjoyed it, and that's all I needed. Um, was what just happened? Foxhound Dash following. What? Foxhound Dash following. Hey, it's a mash following. Hey, no, I got nothing. Um, it's a foxhound dash. It's a following Miss Mash. Foxhound and Cash. It's not a good theme song night. Um, and pizza. The yeah, let's grab some. Good. So, just a bunch of Americans just explode on the floor. That's fine. So, at a certain point, they went down the line through everybody's kind of history, where it was like Ron has been doing it for 1,000 years because we went to school together 1,000 years ago, and he has a long story. And then Ben told his story. He's a little bit younger than us, but we worked with him for 1,000 years. Um, and do. And then there was like just kept getting younger till it was like, we're interns. We just got out of school and we're just learning the ropes. Here's what we learned so far. So as it was going, whatever they said, somebody said something, and I'm just like, well, here's a fun little thing that I'm noticing while this is going on, and I'm loving it. Yes, of course I know what a furry is. Um, our friend Dave Finet is a furry. She shows up at all the local cons, and I think she'll be in Animaritime as I can't remember its name now. Steeljaw. But it's this cool wolf thing. But can you confirm? Why is it all in caps? So anyway, yeah, I was like, it's just kind of funny that everybody's kind of laid out this way. I was like, this is probably not interesting to anybody, but maybe it is. Kolpa, there we go. I was like, see how you guys, like, you're new, you're still just like, yay, let's make cartoons. I'm cool, and I know what current things are, right? Like, you're like dressed in normal, like, cool current clothes, and you're cool. I was like, and then you do it for a while, and then you become like Ben over here. And Ben, who I haven't seen in a long time, he was wearing like a suit coat thing, like a sport jacket with like sunglasses in there. Like he just looked like a full blown like businessman. Like he's like running a studio. I mean, he is like doing like supervising. Like he's very grown up. He's all married and whatever. And I'm like, then you become this, and you're all like, hey, I'm the business guy. Like, let's follow the rules and wear impressive jackets or whatever. Which I think he kind of took an offense to, but the same time, like, you know, whatever. Like, you look great, Ben. You look adorable. You look like you mean business. This is not a bad thing. It's like, but you go from being cool and hip to, you know, appropriate and professional. Professional is probably the word I should have hit on a bunch, which I doubt I did. Yeah, Kolpa is right. Um, and I was like, and then after a while, you get to the like the I couldn't remember his name. I was like to the Titanic guy phase, like the James Cameron phase, where you're like, I've been doing this forever. Who needs answers? Who needs something put together, produced? I've been doing that forever. That's what I do. And you become this. And Rom was like, gray beard, like just hey, this is the kind of hat I like to wear. What are you gonna do? Tell me to dress different? Like or Steven Spielberg as well. Spielberg probably would have been the better reference. But it's just like you're clearly like you're comfortable now, like business, like professional Ron is gone. Now it's just like I would say hardened artist, like lifetime artist. You've become there, and it's just all your different. Like Ben is very much, ooh, well, you have to, the NDAs and you sign things and all these other rules. And Ron's like, yeah, that stuff. And then again, I put my hand up, like actually back in the old days. All the stuff we weren't supposed to do, Ron's the one who made a blog that's just like, here's how we do everything, and we're not supposed to share it with anybody. Oh, Foxhound Dash. Sounds like you need a new furry costume. Or a revamp on your old one. Life is not eternal pain. Even people who are... actually, let's sidestep all my stories for a minute and see if I can remember to segue this into a story. Just for you, Foxhound. I'm a fox. I'm a hound dog. What was I looking at? What was I reading? I forgot to erase all the red pencil, you guys. Life is an eternal struggle of pain and erasing. It's always a mistake. Even though, like, all week long, I'm just in rush mode for work, and all last week was like, fix everything mode, because nothing I ever do is right. Even though there's nothing wrong with it, it's just people change their mind, because I work for crazy streamers that can change their mind all the time. But here's the thing. What was it? Okay, I'm going to paraphrase my memory here because I'm partially replacing some of this with an episode of Matlock from when I was like 14, 1,000 years ago. But it was a person who was something like ridiculously impossible, basically. So it's like, hey, like I have struggles, you have struggles. Like I'm trying to drive today. Oh, my hand hurts from drawing so much. Oh my god, my life is terrible. The double-edged sword that is drawing is pain, but not drawing is even more pain. And whatever it was, this lady or dude, they something like didn't have any arms, let's say, and they still were doing whatever their thing was, and it was, I want to say maybe it was violin, it might have been a montage of different things, but there was this one where it was just like, all right, like you don't even have any arms. You don't even have any arms. I wake up sometimes and I'm like, oh, I have a slight headache. Can I just stay in bed all day? Because I have a slight headache. Life is bullshit. And then see something like that where it's just like, that lady wanted to play violin, but she didn't have arms. I got all the stuff. I have 10 full-blown fingers over here. 10! Anyway, anything's possible. Follow your dreams. It's never too late to find your happiness. And happiness doesn't have to be that complicated, but see you later. But anyway, when I do get into those modes where I'm just like, ugh, I don't want to do nothing no more. Everything sucks. Think about all those people that are like, oh man, like it is so hard for people to do things. And I'm not trying to do things that are that hard. And some people are out there that are just like, hey, what are you trying to do? Something crazy. Well, do you want to try to do something not as hard? Actually, yeah, I do. Give that a whirl. See if you're happier. And sometimes you are. Or you put more time into the hard thing. And sometimes just somebody comes along and helps you out. Like, you think, nothing's ever going to work out. And then sometimes, you find sometimes, you get what you need or whatever. Because I don't think this was the same walk. Actually, I think this is from the day I got this chair for $30. Hey, yeah, life's difficult, but sometimes you can find a chair for $30. But with that good fortune comes a certain, I'm going to say, power, a certain trickle down, I think, that is, it's kind of your responsibility when something good happens. You should, I think, like, this is what I've been trying to do. This is why I stay off Facebook for as much as I do nowadays, because it just fills me with hate. Damn it! What did I do with? It's on the coffee table, but maybe, just maybe. Alright, let's do a different kind of marker. Ah, this looks almost dead. Good enough. So, when I went and, yeah, exactly. Or slash, imagine playing the game of life and being able to go, no, you're not getting in my station wagon. You're not getting in my station wagon. I'm going to take it this way. I'm going to take it this way. And I'm going to have an internet show. And I'm going to draw pictures. And that's going to be cool. You get to draw your own game of life board, which is a really fun fact. But yeah, so I got the chair, and or at least I paid for the chair. Then I got some other like second-handy stuff for like $1.50 or whatever it was I was going to spend. So I went to grab that before I left to go home and get my car to come back to pick up the chair, and this goes both ways for me. Like, if I have a terrible day where I feel like everyone's garbage and everything's garbage, those are the same days where if I happen to go for a walk and I see something that is like, I've got to do something nice, I've got to do something good. I have to make the world a better place. Even though whatever happened to me wasn't bad, was just like, somebody wanted me to do revisions when I didn't feel like it and I thought I was the greatest. Or straight up, I go somewhere and somebody just yells something mean at the grocery store. So, some people are just weird. But whenever something bad happens, I try to balance it by doing something that I deem good anyway. And that also doesn't cost me a lot of money. So I'm still cheap. So I'm in line. And this story goes in two directions, where it's like do something good, but also walk away with a little bit of rage and spite. So whatever I had, I genuinely can't remember. Trying to look around the room to see if it's here. Can't remember. Anyway, I got like an iPad case thing that didn't fit. And damn it, it's something else. But anyway, whatever it was, I was spending virtually no money. Excuse me, and I had some change from getting a cash out of the machine to get the chair, and change from that. So it's like, all right, like I've literally got like $8 and change on me, and I'm spending $3 or something. What color is your sweater, dog? Blue. And in front of me, taking what is basically forever to pay for the few items that they have, is like a lady. Well, at first I think it's two ladies, like friends, possibly even three people, kind of meandering around in a group. But then at a certain point, I'm like, oh, I guess this is kind of like just one lady, and the other lady's just waiting or something, and annoyed, but whatever. I'm just kind of looking around. There's all kinds of stuff at the counter and behind the glass, weird things that they keep locked away that are like $8. So, you can't just have those out in the open. Had a secondhand thrift store. All right, you're going in the garbage. Most of my markers are in my backpack out there. So one lady was definitely like three kids in a trench coat, that's for sure. And she was trying to buy some dolls. And the secondhand store there, they've just got like a rack. They're just dolls upon dolls upon dolls, all different kinds, from Barbie to Bratz to whatever. And I've even I think I got some there when I was making my stop motion alien and making some things, so I would get specific ones with like a bunch with good elbows and shoulders and break them apart and melt them back together. Anyway, they're usually like 50 cents to $1, and they're I'm gonna say in terrible shape. Usually they're at least just regular naked doll. Sometimes like hair is destroyed and whatever. Thrift store dolls. So regardless, there's tons of them. And this lady has, I want to say, like four dolls, I think, maybe three. I think she had like 3 Barbies and 1 like baby doll, the pee the bed doll, whatever. So she's like asking the lady behind the counter like how much is it for all of these, and I'm gonna say like they're not. I don't know where they're from. Their English was pretty good. Say like 70%, 60%. Like they could definitely talk fine with everybody around there. It wasn't a big deal. But I'm pretty sure they're like definitely not. Well, they're definitely not from Canada. I don't know if they've lived here a long time. So there's also a certain bit of leeway to be like, yeah, like give this person some time. Like they're still also like, your guys' handwriting plus your language, like this is gonna take me a minute. Like, and that's fine with me. Take your time, lady. So she's like how much is it for all of them? And it was like I can't remember, like something like $2.50, I think, or $3.50. And she's like, oh, well, what about for just these 3 or just these 2? She's trying to come up with a combination that is like less than $2 or something like that. Like she just has a bit of change on her. And all I can think is like, oh, she's definitely like trying to bring these home like for the kids or whatever, and do this nice thing. And there's probably like, if odds are she's trying to get the right amount of toy for the amount of children in whatever situation she's going home to. And that'll suck if like 90% of the kids, hey, you all get the toy and one of you has to share with the other 3 somehow, and that just doesn't, whatever. Even though these are like some super old dolls. You know, personally, I would have picked out better ones with better joints and whatever, but that's why they were so cheap. Anyway, she's trying to figure this out. I look at what I've got in my hand, I look at my wallet, and I'm like, I've got a fistful of change. I've got a fistful of change. There you go. Take as many as the dolls as you want. Or here's the dollar that you need. Take all $3 or $4, whatever it is. So she does. And oh, that's why I thought there was 4. So she takes her $3, and the 4th doll was the other lady's, the friend who I thought, like, well, that's definitely not her friend, or else she'd get involved in this, right? Why am I the nice person who's like, yeah, like, and when I was a little kid, like, this lady is definitely probably older than me, if not my age, but like having a rough minute trying to get some dolls at the secondhand store. And if somebody's having a rough time at the secondhand store, I'm definitely going to lend them some change. Like, why wouldn't you? Even before that, I'm just like, why isn't the lady reaching, like the store lady reaching into that like tip jar, that like, hey, help a friend out jar? There's like, and when I walked away, I was like, there's a full-blown dollar in here. Like, she could have helped out with that. Or slash, you're practically giving these dolls away. Just say that's fine. Like, if I worked here, I would, that's fine. So much stuff, which that's not good. Like, this place is for raising money for the community. Helps a lot of special needs people, all the special needs people here, basically. And it's a great magical place. But in this instance, it was just like, she's like 75 cents off. And I mean, that's what things cost here. So I don't know, but also give her she's not from this country and she's still getting used to stuff discount. Like, but whatever. In that instance, I knew that some crimes go slipping through the cracks, but this one dumpster bum has got some change, in fact, and he'll drop it there with very little care, and you can take your dolls and call them Chip and Dale. I don't care. Let's try a different brown. Is this the same? I think this is the same. Yeah, well. Oh, yes. So that's what I was getting to. So anyway, nobody cared except me, I guess. Here you go. Here's $1. She was like, oh, thanks. Like, yeah, no problem. Whatever. Go about your day. And then the store lady is like, oh, well, like, this doll here then, so I'll just kind of like throw it away back here to be put away later. And then the friend is like, no, like, that's my doll. Like, that's the one that I'm getting. Like, okay, that's fine. So you were involved in the whole doll consortium. These are probably, some of these kids are yours, some of these kids are hers. Whatever's going on here, like, whatever, none of my business. Sometimes, like, you're taking care of yours, she's taking care of hers, and that's where this is. That'll be 50 cents. Oh, okay, no problem. Let me take my handful of change, very similar to this young man's handful of change, who, I'm still in line. She wasn't even in line. Now this other lady not only didn't help her friend, she's now in front of me like, whoa, this is not how things work. I'm over here trying to make things better, and you're over here breaking the rules and not helping friends. This is... Who are you, Ross over here? This is not Phoebe at all. So Monica pulls out like a handful of change. So she's got the 50 cents. Here's the 50 cents. And then I'm just going to eat this other $4 worth of change in my hand. She had a loonie. She had a toonie. And then she had some other change. But the real knife, the real little knife in that was again, and it's okay. If Foxhound was still here, he'll never come back. He was just looking for troll time fun, and I bored him because I'm like, whoa, no, you gotta get TED talked if you're gonna sit around here and talk about how everything is painful. Because I'll talk about pain and joy, sunshine. What else? What else? Rain. The real spite thing that made me happier for lighted up my little Grinch core a little bit more was, hey, all right, you didn't help your friend. That to me means this lady needs even a little more help than I would think, because even somebody close to her is still not that great of a help. And like the penguin here, useless, virtually useless. But I felt like, and maybe this is just me, because for a minute I thought, oh, should I be like, yeah, I'll get your dolls too then, I guess. Like, how much? What? Yeah, I'll pay for your dolls too. But she looked at me. She looked at me. And again, most likely projecting. What else are we gonna do around this earth except project our thoughts and our feelings? But I felt like she looked at me as if like, oh, I guess I'll just pay for my dolls on my own, and you're not gonna help me at all. And probably all in my head, but the fact that she didn't help her friend made me think, oh, you think that somebody owes you something now, don't you? Just because you don't need help, you should get help. And I spent a good chunk of my life thinking that all the time. Like, that's not fair. I learned my ass off to do that thing, and that person just has it handed them because they couldn't or they wouldn't learn it. But it's just like, whatever. Life is but a dream. We're all just making it up as we go along, having adventures and solving mysteries. And after that, as I walk away down the street, looking at other people, judging them, oh, you did nothing nice today, I wager? Sir, come here for a moment. Let me speak with you. What deeds of goodness have you done unto the world today? None, I presume, and assume. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. And hopefully they would. Hopefully they would. But, you walk, you think, time passes. Until just now, I completely forgot about the other lady. Completely forgot. All I thought was, oh, yeah. Something good happened one of those days I was out there in the world that there was no reason for it to happen. Something bad, like it wasn't catastrophic bad. It was literally $1 worth of doll dilemma that can be diluted by some change. Metaphorical change, there we go, and literal cash change. Couldn't remember the word metaphor. What am I looking for? Oh yeah, the blue that is in the other room. And purpley gray. Thanks, Space Goons. But like I end up doing every week at some point, say, the old Jerry Springer minute or whatever, his cromulent thoughts, the Donnie Hewing of society. It's stuff like that. Like, I know I joke a lot about like running on spite, and I do enjoy spiting people as often as possible, but usually in a positive way. If you're like, no, that can't be, well, like it can It can and I will and I shall. Or just that's dumb. Or can I make a cool version of it? And, just trying to prove people wrong. Principal skinnering around. Hey, Curtis. A long-time listener, first-time caller. You talk about trying to do good things. Yeah, I do. Take us back to the beginning of this little stream and how you said you went to an animation industry panel. And your whole purpose was to cause trouble and be a jerk. But a positive jerk who told people stories about how things can and can be and are in the animation industry and how they can be different and how they're different for some people. But it's good to learn from experienced people, etc. That's pretty much all my notes, other than I let some episodes of QI just play in the background while I was doing stuff. And there's this jellyfish that lives forever. Basically, it's like a Benjamin Button jellyfish. I wonder. Oh. All right. Hold this for a second. There it is. This is 250 sheets of Staples brand reliable, high volume paper. Copy paper to make copies of things. But that's not what we're going to do. That's not what we're going to do at all. I was about to drop that ream of paper on the floor with a loud ka-chunk. But there's a lady downstairs that definitely won't appreciate that. But you know how I keep saying, I'm going to go get the countdown paper so we can play countdown without wasting all my good watercolor paper. That's that ream of paper. I finally moved it into this room. So, as per always, let's move this out of the way for a sec. Secondly poo. Is this still suck? Yep. I'll do it. Still gonna do a countdown intro. The countdown marker. Here we go. So yeah, if anybody's new and don't know, every once in a while we play countdown. It's usually a death match between Space Goonie, Pat Prouse 101, your Daily Chipmunk joins in sometimes, and Moxie Fox, but anybody else, whether you're on Mixer, YouTube, or Twitch, feel free to join in. And to join in, it's simple. I'll grab 9 random letters, vowels, and consonants, and then you'll have 30 seconds, plus a 30-second delay technically, to come up with one long word. Whatever the longest real word is the winner, and winners feel good about themselves. So let me go to my random letter generator, open this marker, and G. Because G is for garbage. That's good enough for me. Next letter, K. Alright, this is not going to cut it as the countdown marker. Somewhere. Oh, is that it? Yes, there it is. No, you're not it. There it is. Somewhere here is the fatter Sharpie. GK P H Let's find a vowel, vowel, vowel. Wishing for a vowel, hoping for a vowel. Give it to me now. Well, that's just an L. U. E. D. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 2 more letters. 2 more letters. I. There we go. And then 1 more. Not that. Not that. Come on now, give me a real letter. Nope. And an L. L on screen. Let's get back over here. And clock. 30 seconds to make a word. Can you make a word with these letters absurd? They don't look like they go together. All snaps. All right, I think 5 is the best that I can come up with real quick. But John J.C. Jr. the third. You always make it for the countdown. So John's coming in strong with gulped. Gulped. That's a 6. Space Goonie liked Liked. Oh, that's a 5. Down there with me and the loser patrol. So far, John J.C. is countdown. Moxie Fox says she's got a 5. Pat's coming in with a 3. A lid. Oh, Patty Prost 101. It's just a 3. Very disappointing. Very disappointing. Moxie Fox Studio. What is your 5? Piled. Wait. Plied. 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 Still a losing word, but a good word. And those chipmunks, almost always terrible. Always coming up with words that they can't use. What was mine? I think glide. Glide. Yeah, glide was all I came up with. Forgot I could have put the ed at the end of something. So John J.C. Jr. the third is today's countdown winner. Happy countdown, us all. Countdown bless us, everyone. The goose is big as me. Yes, the goose is big as you. Take a farthing and bring that goose to me, and we'll take it to that tiniest of Tim's later. Anyway, this has been Monterey Jackin'. It's cheesy. Feels good. Chica, chica. And join us next Tuesday for the same thing. Tuesday is drawing day, where we specifically do this. But as Pat Prost knows, and I sent a sample over to Moxie Fox of Milo. So Milo's going to be doing some stream stuff, hopefully soon. So tomorrow night, working on some more animation things, and then hopefully I'll be able to start using them throughout the end of the week. But yeah, good night, Godspeeds, little doodles. See you next Tuesdays, etc. And thanks for watching. Always fun. Hopefully I didn't upset anybody who wasn't already too upset, or try to convince them it's cool. Life is painful, but I don't know. You use people's pain to your advantage. Be your own Jareth. Design your own maze. Join your own rodent-based detective club. Credits. Just play the credits, Ripples. Ripley? Hey, sweet angel. It's Credits? What number is the credits? I can never remember. Thanks. I need to make a new credit screen. Probably something different with dynamic text. I mean that it's programmed by the stream itself, and I just put a background or something. That's the end. Seriously, I Instagram all this stuff. It's the best place to get information.